And next up is Rich. Don't believe a word he says.
Yes. Where did you get that? Where did he get that from? Where did he get those from?
He made them, I think. Good luck. You want some steak? No, you've got full crown. Leave it like that. It's only get better from here on in. Thank you. Yes, right.
Sorry. Good evening, everybody. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Good. Just like to reiterate, it's great to see everybody here today. And you'll be glad to hear that I am now the final obstacle between you and some more alcohol. So we'll get on as quickly as possible. For those of you that I'll get to meet, my name's Richard. I've known Mark for about 13 years, been pretty good friends for the last 10. It's been an honour to be his best man today. I first met Mark when I started visiting his shop to have my haircuts. And to be sure, I wasn't really honest whether we'd actually get on or not. You know what hairdressing is like, always talking behind your back. But, you know, so after a few visits, time to mull it over. That's the second hairdressing joke, by the way. And we soon became good friends. Over the last few weeks, again, been researching the duties of the best man. And you can only imagine my horror and disappointment when I found that there were no bridesmaids. It appears that best man speech is always going to be a potential minefield of what you should say, what you shouldn't say, what's funny, what's not funny, controversial, etc. So the best piece of advice I got was from a friend of mine who said, look, just remember, you're not a professional comedian. The speech has to be all about the groom. For me, this was an absolute godsend. It meant it to be short, not very funny. The longer it goes on, the louder it will get. And towards the end, probably get slightly inappropriate. Anyway, from personal experience, I know how stressful it can be to organise your own wedding. I know Miriams worked particularly hard over the last few days, and I know that the guys that turned up today to help finish off. But I think you managed to pull it off. I think it's been an amazing day. And I'd just like to thank you for inviting me and everybody else here to be part of that special day. So what can I tell you about Mark? What I can't do is I can't tell you about growing up with Mark because I didn't know him then. I can only imagine what he was like, and I think most of you can imagine what he was like as well. But what I can tell you is that Mark is one of a kind. As a friend, I'd have to say he's pretty much as good as they come. There's nothing I wouldn't do for Mark, and I'd like to think there's nothing Mark wouldn't do for me. And as a consequence of that, we spend a lot of our time not doing anything for each other. Most people know that Mark and Miriam met on the internet, but I'd like to put on record now that I did tell him that eventually what he was looking at was going to get him in trouble. What I didn't realise it was going to end up here today. Although they eventually got together, I'm sure someone should have told Miriam, well, a close friend at least should have told Miriam that anything you buy on the internet, you're still within your rights to take back after 28 days. But something must have turned out right, especially as Mark put on his profile that he was 5'9", which you all know is stretching the truth. I'm sure most of you have taken a look at Mark and Miriam's wedding website. And I think that their photographs, their profile photographs, says quite a lot about them. Miriam is in full-length dress, full-length photograph, which probably means she's not trying to hide anything, she looks very glamorous. Mark's stood next to a motorbike in his leathers. And I think we can all conclude what Mark was after that. Anyway, despite all of this, Mark must have made a good first impression, and as they moved forward together, it wasn't very long before they made probably the second biggest commitment they could make to each other. And there was more than a fence running around their back garden, and that was the arrival of Buster.
Hey.
Unfortunately, Buster can't be here today, but in all honesty, given a few more weeks of training from Miriam, I'm pretty sure he would have been here today doing this, and probably making a better job of it as well. Traditionally, I should could now tell you some funny and embarrassing stories about Mark. I could tell you about the encounter with a curtain maker in Germany with Stuart. Where's Stuart? Hello, Stuart. I still don't quite believe that story, to be honest. So I won't divulge that. I could also tell you about the steak tartare soaked in Tabasco salt that we had in a Belgian restaurant that time. But I think we're scoot past that one as well. And I could tell you about the transgender dancer that he tried to shut up on a certain occasion. But for two reasons, I won't go into those. Firstly, we're only allowed to stay here until midnight tonight. And in terms of stories about Mark, I've been told that will get us up to about the age of 16. Secondly, the purpose of telling these stories is usually to embarrass the groom in front of his friends and family. However, allow me to reassure you all that Mark is more than capable of embarrassing himself without any assistance from me. And I'm sure in a couple of hours we'll be doing exactly that. What I can tell you about Mark is that he was one of a kind, one of the few people I'll call a true friend. He's fiercely loyal, generous and above all trustworthy. And in all seriousness, to find one of those qualities in a person is very rare, but to find all three is very rare indeed. And it's been a privilege to call Mark my friend. Moving forward into married life, I can quite happily say to Mark, you're a very lucky man. You leave here today gaining a partner who is warm, loving, caring, funny, and who radiates kindness wherever she goes. And Miriam, you're also lucky too. You leave here today gaining, well, a new dress and a ring. I'm sure I speak for everybody here when I say that we all know that you are going to be very happy together. And as someone once said something to me, and Mark's already reiterated, it's about finding the person you can't live without. And standing here today, I know that both of you have found that. So, would everybody please join me in raising your glasses and toasting to Mark and Miriam, the new Mr. and Mrs. Finn.
Yeah.
Right, before we finish up, there are a couple of things I need to tell you about so the rest of the evening goes fairly smoothly. Within your little packs, I know there was a slight mix up at the beginning, but that was totally my fault, so I apologise for that. You should have your wristband, which you will, the blue one, mine seems to have disappeared, but it is there, which you will need to be served at the bar, so if you can all make sure you've got those on, that would be great. You will also have a poker chip, which is to cast your votes for the bake-off. And last but not least, there is a jigsaw puzzle piece that everybody's got. If you haven't got a jigsaw puzzle piece, if you can see Michael, the guy in the uniform down there, he will make sure you have one. The symbol of the jigsaw piece is for the Autistic Society, and I know it's a charity that's very close to Mark and Miriam. And if you can redeem this at the bar for a free drink on behalf of Mark and Miriam, which I think is very generous, all they ask from you is that you make a small donation to that charity. And on the subject of donations, it was brought to my attention earlier on that although we agreed that there should be a minimum contribution of about 50p, if Nick or Jonesy asks anyone to split £1, please ignore them.
Hey.
Secondly, I'm not sure where they are. Did you bring the cigars, Mark? Yeah. Okay, Mark's gone a bit mental and brought loads of cigars, so if anybody wants to participate in a cigar outside at some time, I'm not sure when that will be, but we'll get round to everybody if you'd like to come out. I'm sure there'll be a proper photo opportunity there as well at some stage. And last but not least, I have a small presentation to make. I don't know if anybody's ever noticed, but Mark can sometimes have a tendency to be slightly competitive. In fact, we were having a laugh about it the other day. Obviously, he laughed about it harder and longer than I did, but anyway, after about 13 years, we found something he's not particularly good at. For those of you that have been to Mark's shop, you may have noticed that there's a few pictures and stuff hanging on the walls, and I think we can reasonably assume that they've got a special significance to Mark. There are pictures of the Nürburgring, which is a place that we've been to, well, Mark particularly has been to many times. There's a guitar on the wall, which I know Mark is very keen on playing, and also his price list hangs on the wall as well. So it's with great pleasure, Mark, if you can stand up and come over, that on behalf of everybody who's there and witnessed this, that we have your shooting scores from Dublin.
Hey.
And yes, it does have to be hung up in the shop.
Oh, bloody hell, I'm crying. Do you want to tell them I came last as well?
I wasn't going to, but if it says,
I came. I bloody found it. I'm not very good at. Exactly, 0-0. Thank you.
yeah. Well, they did inherit the name 0-0, but thinking back, I think Blanky Flame probably would have been better.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
What stay next?
No, you can go and sit back down. Well, it just leaves me to say thank you very much for your patience today. Hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, and I'm sure over the next couple of hours I'll catch up with everybody at the bar. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you.